Hi, and welcome to Northern View. I'm Paige Tubasing.
And I'm Michael Schuett. If you've ever come across some of the artwork on campus and wondered exactly what it was, stick around. We may be able to help you understand just what they are.
We'll also take a look at a former NKU baseball player who's pursuing his dream in the Cincinnati Reds minor league system.
The issue of mandatory health insurance is once again causing controversy. Currently, students registered with more than 9 hours are not required to carry health insurance because of a restraining order. The Kentucky House of Representatives passed a bill in February that would overturn the mandatory health policy, and students would no longer be required by law to carry health insurance. The bill was passed in the House and has gone to the Senate, where it was placed in the Health and Welfare Committee headed by Senator Benny Ray Bailey. The controversy arises because Senator Bailey headed the original bill making health insurance mandatory. The Board of Student Body Presidents staged a rally on March 6th at the Capitol Rotunda in Frankfort. The board hopes the bill will skip Senator Bailey's committee and go directly to the Senate floor.
After 17 years of service, Cynthia Dickens, Vice President of Student Affairs, is leaving our school to go back to school. No, she's not confused. She's going back to school to pursue her doctorate degree in higher education. Among her accomplishments, Dickens feels that the increase in minorities and women at NKU is one of the best. Dickens says she will miss Northern because of the people and the challenge of her job, but for the next 18 months, she must concentrate on her education. The search committee is being formed to find a replacement, and the job should be filled by September 1st.
Shelley Henke, a senior music education major at NKU, has the opportunity of a lifetime. Through years of hard work and practice, Henke was selected to represent NKU as one of 6 Kentucky college students who will sing at the Dalton Baldwin Masterclass at EKU on March 7th. Dalton Baldwin, a world-class pianist, will critique these 6 students on their singing abilities. Congratulations to Shelley.
Another singer at Northern is putting his talent to use as half the musical team of Sullivan and Jansen.
I think that after being in class with the same people for 4 years of your life, you'd get to know them. But some students have talents that lie outside the classroom. Jay Jansen is a senior that shines both in and outside the classroom.
And I met up with this guy. He was a friend of my brother's, and he was playing by himself. And I said, hey, let's join forces. And within a week, we were playing out at the Crow's Nest in Western Hills, and we've been playing together ever since.
Well, what's your background musically?
Self-taught. I was grounded a lot as a child, and I taught myself how to play bass. And my brother always had an acoustic guitar laying around, so I taught myself how to play guitar.
And you were also a singer. How did you get
Yeah, I sang all my life.
You were a shower singer?
No, not even that. When I was in grade school, you had to be in 6th grade to be in the choir. I was in the choir when I was in 3rd grade because I just wanted to be in the choir. And I kept begging them, so they let me be in.
So do you have any idea where you're going to go from here?
I really don't think so. So I'm happy with what we have, you know. And
Yeah.
people get into it, people party and have a good time. And that's what we're there for, you know.
If you want to be one of those people partying and having a good time, you can catch Jay and his partner on Wednesday nights at the Blue Note, Friday night at the Crow's Nest, and Saturdays at Millions.
The Reds have recently started spring training, and one of Northern's former players has been invited to work out with the Major League team before the start of his own minor league season. Here's Chris Braz with the story.
Almost everybody who plays baseball, from Little League to college, has one dream: to be a professional baseball player. And although some may never get the opportunity, former Northern pitcher Chris Hook is getting the chance to make his dream come true.
Charlie Lefton, who was here and just died last year, he got me a tryout down at the Riverfront Stadium. And me and a few other guys went down there, and it was like 150, probably 200 people down there, and there was about 100 pitchers. And see, that was like a week before the draft, and that was our opportunity to show the Reds what we had, and if they didn't see us during the season, that was something that we could show them. And I threw well then. I threw, you know, low 90s that day, and then they kept me for another game. I pitched well in the game, and then they asked me back for another tryout right before the draft, the draft was a Wednesday, and they asked me back on that next Tuesday, and I pitched again, and then they didn't draft me. And I was kind of disappointed, and no one else had really shown a lot of interest in me my junior year. And then that next Thursday, they called Charlie up, and Charlie talked to me, and they asked if I wanted to sign as a free agent, and I did so. I went to one more tryout, and then I kind of knew I was going to sign that day. And the Reds said, "Okay, we'll sign you." I didn't get any money. It was a situation. It was like a suicide mission. If I didn't do well, I was probably going to get cut. But the situation I did well in rookie ball, and I did well, so I'm still sticking around.
Hook has played baseball all of his life, and when he got the call, it was a feeling he will never forget.
When I went down to Riverfront Stadium, it was a great experience because all these years I lived in this area, and I went to the games, and I've seen the Reds play, and what we did, a good friend of mine and a player that played with me, Paul DeMoss, we walked underneath. It was right behind home plate. We looked out in the riverfront. It was just a great experience. And being out there with all these guys looking for just to getting a chance to be out there it was awesome. And when I found out that they wanted me to come back for another tryout, and I found out I knew something was going to happen, but it was just a great feeling.
Although Hook loves what he's doing, he admits that it's not what it's cracked up to be.
I know a lot of people say, is it just like Bull Durham and everything like that? There's a lot of things like Bull Durham, and as far as the traveling and everybody ragging each other, and everybody's getting their teasing in, but I enjoy it. It's something that if I didn't have, I don't know what I would do. I enjoy it, and I know right now the situation in A-ball, it's going to get better. Road trips aren't too bad. You're in a Greyhound type of situation, just like here at Northern, but the trips are a lot longer. You're going for a minimum of 6 hours every time, and the conditions, the buses, the clubhouses, the hotels, they all get better. And right now, I know I'm at the worst point. It's really not that bad for me.
Right now, things are going great for Hook, but he has a feeling that they may even get better.
With the expansion teams coming up, you have 2 more teams in the league, and they're going to have a big expansion draft. It's going to thin things out a lot. If there's an opportunity for me to make $110,000 in the major leagues with anybody else, I'm going to take that opportunity. You don't look that in the face, but my heart is with the Reds. If I could stay with them, I have no problems with them. They treated me well. They gave me the opportunity, and it's been great. And I've never been treated unfairly so far. But if I could stick with them, that'd be fine. But if I can make $110,000 for somebody else, that's great too,
Hook reports to Plant City, Florida on Wednesday, March 4th, and hopes that all of his training and hard work at Northern pays off for him. For Northern View, this is Chris Perez reporting.
NKU's baseball team has upped its perfect record to 3-0 with a win last Saturday over UC. The Norse won the game in the 10th inning by a score of 6-4. Upcoming games included doubleheader with Lincoln Memorial on March 7th at 1:00 p.m. Wisconsin Lutheran will come to NKU on March 13th at noon, and Cardinals Stritch will play a twin bill here on March 14th beginning at noon. And the men's basketball team finished its season. The Norse ended with a 13-15 record overall, 8-10 in the conference. The Lady Norse have an overall record of 19-8 and 13-5 in the GLVC.
NKU's speech team offers students a chance to get used to speaking in front of people, something most students dread. But competitions are not what most students might expect. Christy Fisher went to a competition this past weekend to see what all the talk is about.
Sweaty palms, shaky knees, butterflies in your stomach. If you're having these feelings, you're probably either sick or getting ready to give a speech. But speaking in front of a crowd doesn't have to be a terrifying experience.
Biggest surprise for many students is the fact that they think speech team speaking, they have this idea or concept in their mind that it's going in front of an auditorium full of 100 or even 1,000 people and speaking. And it's not like that. It's very stylized. It's done on college campuses, much like our own, either where there's a judge, one judge assigned to the room with 6 contestants. And those contestants all speak one at a time in front of that judge, and then they're ranked and they're rated.
The more experience you have at speaking in public, the less nervous you will be. But there are other benefits to being on the speech team.
sure, you gain a lot of confidence. Personally, I ran for, when I was student government president, I ran for student government. I was very concerned. There was a debate that I had to go through, and there were numerous times when I had to speak in front of people, and it gave me a lot of confidence in knowing that I could present myself well, and that I wouldn't have to be worried or concerned with how people would interpret me, and that I could communicate my ideas. So
The speech team competes in 5 to 6 different tournaments a year with schools in many states. And although a lot of work goes into preparing for the tournament, there's still plenty of time for making friends and having fun.
it's a lot of fun, especially when you reach a stage where you're past the competition and you can become friends with the other competitors. So there's a lot of team atmosphere this year. For the first year since I've been at NKU, we finally have a team atmosphere where people are concerned with each other's success instead of their own, and where they want other people to do well and the team to do well. So that makes it a lot of fun when there's a lot of team spirit.
The team is always looking for new members, and you don't need to have any experience. If you're interested, stop by Landrum Room 114 or call extension 6613 for more information.
Reports of sexual harassment and racial discrimination have been widespread in the news lately. In this week's Campus Notes, Tricia Uline talks to Dolores Anderson, Special Assistant to the President in Affirmative Action and Multicultural Affairs, about what you can do if you feel you've been a victim of these sexual harassment or discrimination.
I am responsible for monitoring the institution's affirmative action efforts. I review the hiring forms to ensure that affirmative action and equal opportunity principles have been complied with. I am responsible for developing and implementing multicultural activities, programs, and projects. I think the role of the office is one of a place where people can come to get answers to questions. The office is not there just for women or minorities. The office is there for the entire university community. We have a lot of information. I like to think that we're very proactive and we get involved in university activities.
Someone can just walk over to your office, ask you questions about hiring? Or
Yes.
Has there ever been any suits that have been, any suits that have gone to court or anything like that with affirmative action?
Not that I'm aware of. There may have been prior to my coming on board. When I started, I did go through the office files to look at the records and those types of things. It is my understanding, after talking to legal counsel Sheila Bell, that there have been very few, if any, legal actions against the university in terms of affirmative action or discrimination.
Is there a legal department that handles the suits if there were to be a suit?
Yes, the university does have legal counsel who is responsible for coordinating all of those initiatives, and I work very closely with her and with personnel services.
Ever been any racial problems here at NKU?
There have been a couple of incidences that I've been aware of. I have not personally investigated any of them. They were just brought up to me by individuals who were trying to give me an idea of what the climate is like. But if you mean if there are, incidences that happen every day, no, that doesn't happen.
It would seem like since NKU is so small and it is in some way a commuter college that they wouldn't have any type of racial problems here at NKU.
Well, I don't think it's immune from having those types of problems, but I do think the size of it has helped in reducing the incidences that occur on campus. Everybody knows everybody else. But it's something that we certainly don't want to happen, and we'll be taking measures and steps to ensure that it doesn't happen in the future.
If you feel like you've been harassed or have any racial discrimination against you, what can someone do to get to the bottom of this problem?
They can contact the office. My office handles all the complaints of discrimination involving faculty, students, and staff, dealing with any protected class status such as race, gender, national origin.